McDonald's, Costco, Walgreens, or Macys. All are indispensable symbols in the daily life of millions of people around the world. But now, a fierce economic storm is brewing, threatening the seemingly invincible retail giants standing on the brink of collapse. Many analysts even call it the apocalypse of traditional retail stores. Why did this terrible thing happen? According to many economists, in addition to inflation, one of the reasons for the collapse of these retail chains is related to product quality. A world-famous drug retail chain was even sued for selling addictive products. So, what is the truth of the story? What secrets are the 10 largest retail chains in the U.S. hiding? The truth will be revealed right after this. 1. McDonald's. The dark picture of the fast food and convenience giant. McDonald's, a name that has been synonymous with convenience, stability, and prosperity for decades. At its peak, McDonald's had about 34,000 stores in more than 815 countries and territories. From the bright lights of the stores, the shelves full of products, to the friendly smiles of the employees, McDonald's has always been an indispensable part of the daily lives of millions of Americans. But now, an economic storm is quietly sweeping away everything, threatening the survival of America's largest fast food empire. 2024 was a sad year for McDonald's, with the fast food chain reporting a drop in customers across the U.S., Europe, and China as customers sought cheaper food and cooked more at home. In October 2024 in the U.S., McDonald's, a brand associated with the image of a convenient and familiar fast food meal, faced a serious food safety crisis. An E. coli outbreak caused at least 104 people to become ill, 34 to be hospitalized, and 1 death. The incident shocked public opinion and raised concerns about food quality at major retail chains. The outbreak was traced to raw sliced onions supplied to McDonald's. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, in response, McDonald's has suspended the sale of the Quarter Pounders at 2,800 stores nationwide. Quarter Pounders are served with raw sliced onions, and this food is suspected to be the source of the contamination. The onion supplier, Taylor Farms, recalled the product after E. coli bacteria was detected. The outbreak has affected 14 states in the U.S. Several class action lawsuits have been filed, seeking damages for those affected. Not only is McDonald's in trouble because of food safety issues, it has also had to close hundreds of branches in low-income areas, which used to be their most loyal customers. The reason? Skyrocketing prices that make even a fast food meal a luxury. A Big Mac combo now costs an average of $13, up nearly 40% from 2019. For a family of 4, a meal at McDonald's can cost more than $50, the equivalent of a full day's pay after taxes for a minimum wage worker. The change isn't just about price. Persistent inflation, combined with rising operating costs, has forced McDonald's to face a harsh reality. Its customers are leaving. An internal survey in early 2025 found that 65% of American consumers had cut back on their visits to McDonald's, not because they no longer like the taste, but simply because they couldn't afford it. Furthermore, safety issues and labor shortages at many locations have forced the chain to shorten operating hours or close altogether. In big cities like Los Angeles and Chicago, McDonald's that were once open 24/7 now frequently close early, or can't find enough staff to operate. The shift to automation, with self-service kiosks replacing employees, has further eroded the friendliness that has long been a hallmark of McDonald's. Older customers are alienated by cold touchscreens, while young children no longer experience the joy of receiving their food from a smiling employee. McDonald's financial picture in 2024 is also not very bright. The numbers don't lie. In the fourth quarter of 2024, McDonald's revenue was only $6.39 billion, down slightly by 0.3% compared to the same period last year. Notably, Net profit in this quarter also decreased by 1% to $2.02 billion. Total net profit in 2024 decreased by 3% to only $8.22 billion, a worrying number for a big brand like McDonald's. This clearly reflects that McDonald's splendor is gradually fading. McDonald's isn't sitting still, though. The chain has rolled out a series of strategies to maintain its market share, including lucrative promotions like $5 meal combos and discounts through its mobile app. It's also been constantly innovating its menu, introducing new items like McCrispy strips and snack wraps, hoping to win back customers who have turned away. However, in the face of fierce competition and major market challenges, McDonald's cannot rely on short-term strategies alone. By 2024, they still aim to open 2,200 new stores globally. But this is not enough to ensure sustainable growth without more profound changes in the way they operate and their business model. If McDonald's, a cultural icon that once dominated the fast food industry, is faltering, what does that say about the future of the industry? Is America's live fast, eat fast model cracking under the pressure of economic reality? The next retail chain was even involved in a high-profile drug-related lawsuit. 2. Wright Aid, the largest pharmacy chain in the U.S., is on the brink of collapse. In the 1990s, Wright Aid was one of the largest drugstore chains in the United States, known not only for its nationwide network of stores, but also for its reputation for dedicated customer service and the convenience of its pharmacies, cosmetics, and everyday essentials. During the past decade, Rite Aid was the third largest drugstore chain in the United States, behind only CVS and Walgreens. Rite Aid operated more than 4,600 stores nationwide at its peak. Rite Aid reached millions of customers every day, especially in suburban and rural areas where the drugstore chain dominated the market. However, things have changed in recent years. While it has retained its loyal customer base, competition from big players like Walmart, Amazon, and other online pharmacies has begun to take a serious toll on Rite Aid's revenue. In particular, the sharp shift to online shopping and the rise of larger drugstore chains with more competitive prices has left Rite Aid facing some unforeseen challenges. In less than a decade, Rite Aid's stores have plummeted to just over 1,700 by early 2025, a freefall that shows no signs of slowing. One of the biggest blows to the chain has been the opioid lawsuit. Rite Aid has faced massive lawsuits and settlements related to its overprescription of opioids, highly addictive painkillers, which have cost it millions of dollars to settle legal issues. The U.S. Department of Justice has accused Rite Aid of intentionally ignoring warning signs and illegally dispensing hundreds of millions of pills. This contributed to the opioid crisis, which now claims more than 100,000 American lives each year. As a result, the company is facing $3 billion in debt and has been forced to sell off assets, close hundreds of locations, and lay off thousands of workers, but the legal troubles are only part of the story. The situation became more serious when Rite Aid filed for bankruptcy protection in October 2023. At that time, the company was saddled with a huge debt of up to $2 billion, a figure too large to bear in the difficult economic context. Not only that, the chain also faced a significant decline in revenue, with a decrease of up to 15% in 2024 compared to the previous year. More than 400 stores nationwide will close by mid-2025, including many important branches in California and New York. This is a fatal blow to Rite Aid, as the stores that were once the symbol of the company are now abandoned, significantly affecting their image and business strategy. To cut costs and stay afloat, Rite Aid has had to cut back on key customer services, including ending its loyalty program and deciding not to accept gift cards or product returns starting June 5, 2025. This has angered many customers, especially those living in rural areas where they rely on Rite Aid's services. Rite Aid is now facing a life-or-death battle, And although the company has received a $194 billion loan to stay afloat during its restructuring, whether it can turn its fortunes around remains an open question. Did you know the retail health market has been in real trouble in recent years? 3. Walgreens, the largest pharmacy chain facing storms. With more than 8,600 stores across the United States, Walgreens was once one of the largest drugstore chains. However, by the end of 2024, the company had closed more than 700 stores, concentrated mainly in high-cost states such as California, New York, and Illinois. In particular, increased theft and poor security have caused Walgreens to face huge financial losses. Walgreens recorded a net loss of nearly $6 billion, the worst in its 120-year history. In response, Walgreens has cut jobs and divested some of its stakes in pharmaceutical companies. But bigger problems remain. As consumers increasingly turn to online pharmacy services or walk-in clinics, Walgreens stores are short of pharmacists, leading to long waits and customer dissatisfaction. In an effort to cut losses, Walgreens is not only closing stores but also laying off 10% of its headquarters workforce and selling off stakes in some of its pharmaceutical ventures. One of the biggest pain points is the pharmacists' strike in 2023 and 2024, which further exacerbates tensions, causing public trust in the brand to decline. In particular, store closures in low-income and rural areas raise serious concerns about the lack of health care in these areas. When Walgreens pulls out, it's not just a store that's gone. It's a major loss to the basic healthcare system that many people depend on. This raises questions about the future of smaller pharmacies and access to affordable healthcare for Americans. 4. CVS, an iconic name in pharmacy retail chains with an uncertain future. Like Walgreens, CVS is also facing challenges. As the largest retail pharmacy chain in the United States, CVS, an iconic name that has stood for nearly 60 years in the American pharmacy and retail industry, now faces an increasingly uncertain future. However, the rise of e-commerce and telemedicine has made going to a physical store to buy medicine less common. A report from Morning Consult found that nearly 40% of U.S. consumers now buy their medications online, with Amazon emerging as a formidable competitor, making it difficult for CVS to maintain customer attraction at traditional stores. One of CVS's biggest problems is the high operating costs associated with maintaining its physical stores. In addition, the company has struggled to quickly transition to a digital model, which has left it lagging behind its competitors. Companies like Amazon and online healthcare platforms have been quick to change and adapt to the digital shopping trend. CVS has laid off more than 1,000 employees in Connecticut over the past 18 months, mostly from its Aetna division, raising concerns about the company's future in the state. Under new CEO David Joyner, CVS is implementing $2 billion in cost cuts and restructuring its management to improve operational efficiency. The question is whether CVS and Walgreens can survive in the digital age. Can these traditional drugstores transform in time to meet the needs of today's consumers? Both companies are facing declining store traffic and intense competition from online platforms, requiring them to adapt and innovate quickly. Even the world's largest retail giant is facing serious challenges. 5. Costco, facing challenges as consumers tighten spending. Costco, the retail brand known for its giant warehouses, long lines, and unique membership services, has become an integral part of the consumer lifestyles of millions. With more than 870 stores worldwide and $240 billion in revenue in 2024, Costco remains one of the world's most powerful retail giants. But beneath that stable facade, Costco is facing a series of serious challenges that threaten the brand's future. Costco built its business model on high sales volume and annual membership fees, which range from $60 for a basic plan to $120 for a premium plan. But as consumers become increasingly tight-fisted, that model is starting to falter. A Morning Consult survey in 2025 found that nearly 25% of former Costco members had canceled or not renewed their membership for financial reasons. This reflects a major shift in consumer behavior, especially among younger consumers, Gen Z and millennials. These generations are turning to online platforms like Amazon, which don't require memberships, offer home delivery, and don't require shoppers to buy in bulk. This is a direct hit on Costco, which requires customers to buy in bulk and store at home, something that not everyone can afford, especially those who live in small spaces or don't own a car. In addition, maintaining huge stores, complex supply chains, and a huge workforce is causing Costco to incur high operating costs, especially in the context of inflation. Costco's profit margin in 2024 will be only about 2.5%, a fragile number and vulnerable to economic shocks. Even more worrying is Costco's slowness in the e-commerce race. While competitors like Amazon, Walmart, and Target continue to improve the online shopping experience and optimize fast delivery, Costco still relies on third-party delivery services like Instacart. These services have been criticized not only for high prices but also for slow delivery times, which reduces customer satisfaction and hurts Costco's competitiveness. To stay competitive, Costco will have to change its strategy, especially in developing its e-commerce platform, as consumers increasingly seek convenience and flexibility. Costco will need to be more flexible in meeting customer needs. Otherwise, the retail giant could lose its position, becoming an outdated option in a world where online shopping and convenience are gradually replacing traditional brick-and-mortar models. Even worse, the next retail chain was caught up in a series of shocking legal lawsuits. Yika's Dollar General, the worrying crisis and legal cases. If there is one retail chain that epitomizes the rapid growth of the American retail industry, it is Dollar General. Since its founding in 1939, the company has gone through an impressive journey to become one of the largest discount store chains in the United States, with more than 18,000 stores in urban and rural areas. Dollar General has built a strong image in the minds of consumers with its low-cost, accessible products. Dollar General was once a symbol of stability, a place where people could buy canned goods, toilet paper, batteries, cold medicine, even toys for their kids for a few dollars. But now that lifeline is sinking, and its decline threatens not only the future of discount retailing but also the backbone of America's low-income economy. Dollar General has proven its ability to grow exponentially over the years. As of early 2025, Dollar General operates more than 19,000 stores across the United States, more than McDonald's, Starbucks, and Walmart combined. But that massive scale is now becoming a burden. Since 2020, when the COVID-19 pandemic broke out, the company has faced unprecedented challenges. Initially, during the early stages of the pandemic, Dollar General stores were seen as the only place to provide essential goods to communities. The company saw a surge in revenue. However, the shift in consumer behavior in the wake of the pandemic has complicated things. In 2023, the company's stock fell more than 50%, forcing the CEO to resign and issue a public apology to shareholders. Also, in 2023, Dollar General's financial report showed that revenue fell 1.6% year-over-year, marking the first time in many years that the company missed its growth expectations. Additionally, net income fell to 2.3%, its lowest level in 5 years. The biggest reason for the decline was a change in consumer behavior, as they began to save more and look for better price options. Promotions weren't as effective as they once were, and strong competitors like Walmart and Amazon put pressure on Dollar General. Another serious issue that has plagued Dollar General is a series of lawsuits and legal issues related to working conditions and worker safety. In October 2023, the U.S. Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, fined Dollar General more than $21 million for safety violations, the largest fine ever levied against a retail chain. Inspectors found blocked exits, stores without fire plans, and untrained employees, hazards that posed serious risks to both workers and shoppers. Stores are now severely understaffed and poorly maintained, with damaged products on shelves, questionable expiration dates, and declining inventory quality. While Dollar General has attempted to address these issues, repeated legal action has further eroded the company's reputation. In addition to struggling with revenue, Dollar General also faced a series of problems with store management and inventory. Although the company continued its store expansion strategy, by 2024 it had closed more than 100 stores that were unprofitable and not meeting customer needs. These stores were often empty and could not compete with larger competitors. In addition, inefficient inventory maintenance in some locations meant that Dollar General could not provide enough goods to meet customer demand, causing frustration and lack of confidence among consumers. What happens to rural families, to seniors in small towns, to people who have no other options if Dollar General starts closing stores or cutting back further? Even the electronics retail chain, the hottest item today, suffers the same fate, with gloomy stores and no customers visiting. 7. Best Buy, the electronics retail empire with dismal revenue. You remember the excitement of rushing into Best Buy to check out the latest TVs or enjoy the sound of a high-end speaker system. But when was the last time you visited a Best Buy? Since its founding in 1966, Best Buy has become an icon in the electronics retail industry, providing consumer electronics products from TVs, computers, mobile phones to smart home appliances. Best Buy's outstanding success comes not only from providing quality products but also from a comprehensive retail strategy, combining traditional stores with strong online services. At its peak, Best Buy had more than 1,000 stores across the United States and became a popular destination for consumers looking to buy electronics. The company also built a reputation for excellent customer service, clear warranty policies, and competitive pricing. Despite its solid foundation, Best Buy has faced significant challenges in recent years. While the company has had great success in developing its online retail services, the strong explosion of e-commerce platforms such as Amazon has caused Best Buy's revenue to decline significantly. Customers increasingly prefer the convenience of shopping online instead of having to go to the store directly. Especially in the context of the COVID-19 pandemic, people's consumption habits have changed. Additionally, the proliferation of smaller electronics stores like Walmart and Target with diversified sales models, including electronics and other consumer goods, has made it difficult for Best Buy to maintain market share. Best Buy's revenue fell sharply in the first quarter of 2023, down 5.8% year over year. Profits also fell, down 2.1%, the lowest in years. In fiscal 2023 alone, Best Buy's sales fell more than 10% year over year, and more worryingly, net income fell 32%. In addition, fluctuations in the supply chain have made it difficult for Best Buy to ensure enough goods to meet customer demand. Electronic devices, especially computers and mobile phones, have suffered shortages and increased prices, which has affected profits and the customer shopping experience. One of the biggest factors behind Best Buy's decline is changing consumer spending habits. The Consumer Technology Association notes that 2024 marked the first decline in TV and laptop sales in 5 years. One of the main reasons is the saturation of the smartphone market, with users holding onto their devices longer and less likely to upgrade them. Customers are becoming more cautious about spending, especially as prices for electronics have risen due to the pandemic. Inflation and rising costs of living have led consumers to look for cheaper products, leading to less spending on high-end electronics. In 2023, Best Buy closed more than 50 stores, a especially those in areas where the target market was not large enough or did not meet customer needs. Do you still go to Best Buy to buy phones? 8. Macys, the retail giant on the verge of collapse. Macys, a legendary name in the American retail industry. Famous for its impressive stores, huge discounts, and quality products. Macys was once a symbol of shopping in major American cities. In 2018, at its peak, Macys had 641 stores worldwide. However, drastic changes in American consumer habits are putting Macys in danger. By 2025, Macys will only have about 350 stores operating in the U.S. Macys' revenue in fiscal 2024 is expected to fall 3.5% year-over-year to $22.3 billion, down from $7.8 billion in the fourth quarter, a much lower number than expected. These figures reflect a serious decline in the company's operating efficiency, as Macys' brick-and-mortar stores are no longer attracting customers as they once did. Consumers are shifting to online shopping and the trend of saving money is increasing. Macys' giant stores are no longer suitable for the current market. In response to the crisis, Macys has made the painful decision to close 150 stores over the next 3 years. This figure not only represents a sharp decline in operations, but also marks the departure of many iconic stores in expensive areas such as New York, California, Texas, and Florida. Macys is not only facing difficulties from the market but also falling into an internal financial crisis. They had to delay the release of financial results for the third quarter of 2024 after discovering that an employee had hidden millions of dollars in expenses for nearly 3 years. This is a huge blow to the confidence of investors and shareholders, leaving the company in a more unstable and difficult situation than ever. With the rising costs of operating physical stores and fierce competition from online shopping platforms like Amazon, Macys' future remains challenging. One of the most stable retail chains is also facing risks and difficult challenges. 9. Nordstrom, the shopping experience model, is collapsing. If you ever thought of a retail chain that represents luxury, class, and stability, Nordstrom would be the name that comes to mind. Nordstrom has long been the pride of the high-end retail industry in the U.S., where customers are willing to pay a lot of money for attentive service and a different shopping experience. But in the rapidly changing post-pandemic world, this traditional model has become a burden, as customers' consumption habits have changed dramatically. Consumers no longer want to go to stores to try on clothes and waste time. They want to shop quickly and conveniently through the taps on their phones. And this has made Nordstrom's shopping as an experience model increasingly obsolete. Financial figures from the fourth quarter of 2024 show a serious decline for Nordstrom. Revenue fell 4.1% year-over-year, while net profit margin fell to just 1.5%. Its lowest level in more than a decade. These numbers reflect not only a decline in customer spending, but also the failure of Nordstrom's strategy to expand through Nordstrom Rack, its off-price retail division. Despite investing heavily in e-commerce, Nordstrom has been unable to catch up with powerful competitors like Amazon, Target, or even fast fashion brands like Shein. And then there are the store closures. In 2024, more than 15 Nordstrom stores will officially close. Iconic locations like San Francisco, Portland, and Minneapolis are no longer top destinations. Prime real estate, once Nordstrom's gold, is now empty and for lease. This affects not only Nordstrom's presence but also the malls in which they are located. Not only are physical stores closing, but understaffing, inventory piles, and deep discounts are becoming a common sight at the remaining stores. 10. Save Mart, from community pillar to existential crisis. For more than 70 years, Save Mart has been a staple of communities in Central and Northern California and Nevada. With nearly 200 stores operating under the Save Mart, Lucky, and Food Max brands, the supermarket chain has been a top choice for millions of working and middle-class families, especially in areas where giants like Walmart and Amazon have yet to make a strong inroad. However, In recent years, Save Mart has faced a series of serious challenges, pushing the company into unprecedented difficulties. In 2022, Save Mart was acquired by Kingswood Capital Management, a private equity firm. Just 2 years later, in 2024, the company was sold to Canada's Jim Pattison Group. The continued ownership changes led to drastic restructuring decisions, including the closure of 2 distribution centers in California, affecting 527 employees. Save Mart faces stiff competition from rivals like Walmart and Amazon Fresh, while rising operating costs, particularly labor costs and commodity inflation, have squeezed the company's already slim margins. Changes in strategy and organizational structure have caused longtime customers to lose confidence, switching to other supermarkets with more competitive prices or shopping online. Although Save Mart has launched a campaign to reduce prices on more than 4,000 essential items by 2025, this is not enough to retain customers. Save Mart's decline has had a profound impact on the local community. In many small towns, Save Mart was the only grocery store within a dozen miles. The closure of these stores forced residents to travel farther to shop, which was especially difficult for seniors, low-income families, and those without transportation. Save Mart's story raises big questions about the future of mid-sized retail chains in the United States. Can businesses that are not big enough to compete on price and not agile enough to adapt to new technology survive in the modern business environment? These stories are not just about corporate decline. They are warnings of a profound change in the way we shop, live, and interact with our communities. As retail giants collapse, the voids they leave will affect us all, from those living in big cities to those living in remote rural areas. The question is, are you ready for a world where familiar conveniences no longer exist? The information we share in the video is for reference only and is analyzed from many perspectives. Please combine other sources of information for a more complete and objective view.